All right, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Facebook Live interview with the director and cast of The Comeback. So
Hello.
excited to have you this evening. We are live on Facebook, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Everybody want to say hello to our audience this evening?
Hello.
Hi.
Come on, guys.
So excited to be
Hello.
working with this talented group of actors. I mean, it is such an honor to be working with you. I'm going to kick off this interview starting with Natasha, played by Sherry McRae. Sherry, we'll jump right into it and then we'll get to Amaya. But could you tell everyone about your role and a little bit about yourself as well?
Well, good evening, everyone. Glad you all can join us. Natasha is a young woman. She's a very ambitious young woman. She's a journalist. She's a writer. She's a friend. She's a family member. She is a community advocate. She is all things love, right? But unfortunately, there's some turn of events that happens in her life that she has the temptation to be bitter versus better. And so this is just a story that depicts her comeback, her emotional comeback, her spiritual comeback, her career, the phases of her life, everything you could think of that a young woman can go through. And it's just like you're up at 1 minute and then the next thing, something happens, with the breakup with the young man. And then everything just kind of, avalanches into something completely different. Um, as far as myself, I'm an actor, local actor here in Atlanta. However, I work in multi markets and I work in film and television, and I have also done theater as well. And I'm just pretty much just exploring everything that the industry has to offer. I am uber passionate about what I do. I take no for an answer when it comes to being lackluster. And just really just enjoying this journey, enjoying being a part of a cast such as this one that is amazing, and that brings their A game. And so that's pretty much who I am.
Awesome, awesome. We are going to also head over to Amaya. I know you guys have to hop off because you're very talented, but yet busy working artist.
Yeah.
So, Amaya, same question for you. Could you describe the role that you'll be playing and also a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name's Amaya Alexander, and I play both Tracy and Rachel in the play. For Tracy, I would say that she's the newest of Troy's women, and as Natasha, the character Natasha, we kind of heard a little bit about her. Troy just he likes ladies, so he went from her to Erica, and now he's off with Tracy. And I feel like Tracy's trying to hold down the fort per se for this man who has to figure things out. And then for Rachel, Rachel's somewhat of an obstacle, I would say, for the other characters that she's trying to place herself in a marriage that isn't her own. So that's what I'll say for Rachel. And then for me, my name's Amaya, and I act in the Southeast area. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, but I mainly am stationed in Atlanta at the moment, and I'm a recent graduate of Spelman College, the theater department. So represent HBCUs.
Right. Awesome. Thank you. And both Amaya and Sherry, could you describe how you relate to the character, or maybe there's someone in your story that can relate to it as well?
Hmm. I think that as far as my relatability to Natasha is really just going through different phases and stages of life that bring about so many different distractions, emotions, everything that you can think of, from wanting to thrive in your career to just wanting to, have a love life or a love or someone that cares for you, that, that's a lifestyle that goes unscathed. But unfortunately, as women, we have to juggle, right? The struggle of the juggle is what I call it. And just balancing your spirituality, balancing your career, balancing getting to know someone, having those trust issues. Should I trust this individual? What does my life look like in the next couple of years? Am I going to be married? Am I going to be settled down? Am I going to have children? And I think what my relatability is even though you may go through different stages or inward battles in life, it still doesn't mean that the journey or the fight or the battle is over. So as long as you can convince yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally to just carry on one more day, that today may be the day that I may experience my breakthrough. Today may be the day that I can really be an advocate for anyone else who may be experiencing life. Life is lifing, right? Life the way that I am, and still, go out in the world. And even though everyone says, take off the mask, we all wear a mask. And so I think with Natasha, as far as it relates to me, just knowing that it's okay to remove the mask, knowing that we all, it doesn't matter what your background, your creed, your nationality, your ethnicity, your age, your gender, we all gonna go through something. But how do you handle the setbacks? Do you have your comeback, or do you just let that setback carry you even further back? So you take those necessary steps to be a better person and try not to negatively hinder anyone else around you. Just be a beacon of light for other individuals. So that's how I can relate. Because when you go through stuff, listen, sometimes the stuff is heavy and sometimes it's light, but you got to depend on people around you to really, truly get you through,
That's right. That's right. Now, Natasha, both you and Amaya said something alluded to the character Troy. And so I want to talk to the fellas now because we've heard about Troy. Troy has a connection with most of all these women in the cast. Like, he is really a playboy. So I'm going to pivot to Joaquin, Damien, as well as Jared, and then Peter to weigh in on how they relate to their characters. And let's talk a little bit about Troy and this dynamic that he has with all of the women. Anybody want to go off first? Joaquin, we can start with you since you are Troy, playing Troy in the play. So you can introduce
Okay. Well, yeah, just like they said that Troy is he's the ladies' man, and he loves the women, and just from where we're at, just in this part of the story, that due to the fact of he's kind of facing his ramifications of his past, and we're seeing now where it affects him at this point is right now, and a lot of things can be life lessons, and it can be some hard life lessons. And the one thing with him is that sometimes you may not think that it's that big until you see what you have lost or what you've done to be like, okay, let me try to make this right. Some people may accept it, some people may not. So that's all. I'm just leave it there. But as of right now, this character is really, really, I would say, just is really trying to find himself and find a better pathway going forward.
That's right. Peter, Zaylin, would you like to add to that and how your character tries to balance out this ladies' man in this story?
Sure. So, Peter, I think one of the greatest things about him is that, he is that confidant. He is also that individual that Troy can go to I think, get some wisdom and some sense talked into him. And that's one thing that I identify with. I like to be that person that I think that my friends or family members come to for advice or, just want to talk about things. Because Peter is a very approachable person, but he's also, a husband and a father and a businessman. Like he wears so many different hats. But I think that one of the main things that I like about Peter is that he shows more of the, I guess you would call it vulnerable side of the male, because he really prides himself on his relationship with his wife, with Crystal, and that communication and really being there for her and, expressing his wants and his needs. And he's just, I feel like you don't see that a lot sometimes in the Black male community. So yeah, that's my take on Peter.
Awesome. Thank you, Zaylin. And Jermatt, you are new to the cast, new to the comeback. Would love to hear your take on Troy as well as your role in the play.
All right. Well, my name is Jermac. Troy is, I feel like somebody who is, he just doesn't get it. You know, that's my boy. Yeah, he's just, he's trying, you know, and I mean, of course, I can't really take him serious because he just doesn't get it. I play Damien, a very close friend to Troy. I'm just an all-around goofy person, just being silly, just to hang. I just like to hang out. And then I also play Jared. Jared is the total opposite of Damien. He's a much smoother guy. He sees a fresh start in Natasha, which is interesting because I'm also have a small business. Well, my character, and it's a small business, but it's something that hasn't been around for a while. It's just something that just got started. So a fresh start with Natasha, a fresh start with my job, and I've been acting for a little while, not too long. Theater mostly. I've done a small amount of film. But yeah, that's it about me. I'm just really the newest to the party, so yeah, I'm still here to kind of fill out everybody else's character and become more of a family with everybody.
Well, you guys, I just want to pause here to let you know that we have some heavy hitters coming to Atlanta to present the comeback. I am so excited to be working with this talented cast, you know, from Zaylin, who is an actor. He works in the performing arts industry. He also launched his own theater company. To Chantal, who is well known in the acting community. You'll see her on Wicked City. She's been on P-Valley, Queen Sugar. And so it is my honor to be working with these actors. Joaquin holding it down in Jacksonville. Mr. Franklin, Keith Franklin, I would like to pivot to you to get your take on working with such a talented cast and also being a heavy hitter within this industry as well, working within this industry for more than 40 years and being the executive artistic director for a theater company in Atlanta. Can you talk more about your role with the cast and also as a professional artist?
Okay, well, first of all, like you, I'm excited to be working with this cast. I am the director, so I kind of have to figure out everybody and every character and really think through the whole thing. So it's a beautifully written script. It's some very good interpersonal dynamics, interpersonal fights that makes it easy for the actors to have something to work with, something to fight for. So that makes that particular part of the job easier. These guys are great. We have been extremely lucky in getting such a talented cast, and not only a talented cast, but a very warm and coachable, dedicated cast, and that helps a whole lot as a director to have people that won't fight you and who are really serious about the craft and doing the work. So I really appreciate that from you guys, and I've seen tremendous growth over the time that we've been working together. So I really appreciate it. About me, I'm Keith Franklin, like you say, the executive director of the New African Grove Theater Company in Atlanta. We've been around, the company has been around since 2009. And we've made a pretty good little name for ourselves, both locally and nationally. I mean, if you go to the big theater festivals, people kind of know who we are. So that's a good thing. I also act myself, act and direct. Since the pandemic, I've done a bit more film work than I did before, and that's been interesting. So at this point I've directed film, acted in film, directed theater, acted in theater, and it's just been a joy. It's the kind of the joy of my life. It's not what I do for money, but it's what I do for a living. And I guess that's it. I'll be quiet. I want to hear from the rest of these people.
Oh, that's perfect. And I'm so fortunate. I know the cast is as well, to be working with you and to be able to learn from all of your expertise and wisdom that you bring to this project. So thank you so much. I will pivot now to Kobe and Chantal to hear more from you about your role, how you relate to your character, and what this means to you to be a part of the Comeback cast. So we can kick it off with Chantal, if you can go first.
Sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Chantal Maurice. I'm an actor, dancer, and filmmaker. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I mostly work in television. I've booked over 15 different TV shows. I've got some TV shows coming out this year, along with some movies that will be hitting theaters. So I play Crystal. And without giving too much of the plot or the story away, I feel like I relate to Crystal because, you know, she is that what we would call that ride or die best friend who has her friends back. She is the comedic relief. And, you know, I relate to that because in my real life, I take my friendships and my relationships very seriously. She's also a loving wife and a mother. So she's nurturing. And, you know, she loves her husband. You know, they have a couple of communication issues, but because they both love each other, they're able to get over those hurdles and find peace and reconciliation with each other. So that's how I relate to her. I think she's funny. I think she's fun. She's very outgoing and she's loving and she's a protector. You know, she's also protective of her friends, her husband, and her son. So that's how I relate to the character. And I really think that people should come see this play because it's just a really, really great story. And it's relatable. You know, you can definitely find a character throughout this story that you can relate to and that you can also root for. So that's a little bit about me and my character, Crystal.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Kobe, can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your character and how you relate to Erica?
Yes. Hi, my name is Kobe Henson. I am an architect by day and an aspiring actor on the side. Now, I will be playing the role of Erica. And I think Erica is just going through a season of like hurt and heartbreak. I think she is just trying to get back on her feet, trying to figure out what's the next step with her, as well as trying to navigate a situation with Troy and them sharing a kid together. I think there's a lot of anger in her too as well. I feel like she knows to do better, but she just doesn't do it. So she's just trying to figure that out with, I think, just a broken heart. And I relate to that character because I feel like everybody's been hurt before. Everybody has had a broken heart before. And I definitely think people can just relate to her story in some way. Everybody has kind of gone through this season in life. So, yeah.
Awesome. I agree with you. I want to talk a little bit, if it's okay, about the themes, right? Because Kobe, you mentioned everybody's gotten their heart broken before. I'm sure we can all relate to that. I certainly can. Chantal, you mentioned about Crystal being a ride or die and you also pulling from that, right, in your own life. Let's talk about the themes. So the themes, forgiveness, we have infidelity or emotional kind of betrayal with Crystal and Peter. Some really interesting things that I think the audience will connect with. So can we kind of tap into that a little bit more and talk about these dynamics that Mr. Franklin talked about that make the script so, I think, interesting and inviting and will take the audience on a journey for sure. Anybody want to jump right in?
Well, I think in the script, we do get to the root of a lot of a lot of issues that most of the time we only touch the surface of. I mean, we often look at the guy who is chasing after all of the women, but there's a point in the play where the wise Peter kind of talks to him about that and about really what it is that you're doing. You're responding to this ego stroking, or you're responding to what's making you feel good rather than responding to what makes you a better person, and that kind of thing. One of the dynamics of the play is that the person who was part of hurting another person becomes the protege of that person. So the person is dealing with hurt, and part of her dealing with her hurt is to help the person who hurt her.
Right.
And so that forgiveness, like you say, is so much more for the person who is doing the forgiving than it is for the person who is being forgiven. And, you know, in general, we have that concept backwards, and we think we are doing someone a favor when we forgive. When we forgive, we are taking something off our own backs. We are growing ourselves. And I think this play is an illustration of that, rather than just somebody preaching to you. You're just showing it happening. So it's that kind of thing that it's definitely without doing any kind of beating you over the head with it or quoting scripture. It's very spiritually laden, and I really like that about the piece.
Speaking of that, spiritually laden, there is a line that Natasha says. She says, it's simple, not easy. And you even had to kind of break that down for us in rehearsals, right? That forgiveness, yeah, we tell people to forgive, you know, you can't forget, but you can forgive. But it's so much harder to do than what's being said. So I appreciate that comment for sure. Anybody else want to elaborate, add to these themes that you see in the play? All right, that's good. I know I'm putting the cast on the spot, but just wanted to see if we could tap into some of the comments and responses that the actors shared so far. So I do want to be mindful of everyone's time. We would love for everyone to come out and see The Comeback Friday, September 2nd, Atlanta, Georgia, as a part of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. It's going to be a stage reading that you do not want to miss. I am telling you. Be there, 10 a.m. at the Kempton Hotel Airport. We will drop the copy and the address and the details for this live. But before we wrap, I do want to kind of go around the virtual room and ask everybody, why do you think people should come out and see this show? And then how can we stay connected with the cast? Everyone on this, call today and everybody in the cast, they're doing amazing work. You guys want to follow them. You want to be engaged with what they're doing, because I'm telling you, they're amazing. So if you can also just share with our viewers tonight, why people should come out and see this show, and then how can they keep in contact with you, and then we'll go ahead and call it a night. Anybody want to go first? Joe,
you guys want me to go first? Okay.
Yes.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna say is we have a dynamic and phenomenal writer and creator and very unique who has created not just this story but a number of stories. And we have a talented and a great director as well, and just a talented cast. And I think the most important thing in this is the message. The message, I think, is going to speak to a lot of people. You don't have to be in depression or just always just going through something, but it's just something that you could basically tell someone else about who may be in those situations, or just something to see, just to learn from. You know what? If something like this comes around, you know what? I can think of some ways to how to. Maybe this person went through it, but I don't want to handle it this way. Or, you know what? This is a better way to handle it. There's like so many lessons that's involved in this. And I think that each character represents something that I think everyone can relate to. So that's the reason why I think you should come and see the play.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joaquin. Thank you for the great work that you are doing and everything that you're bringing to your character. So thank you so much, Kobe.
Yeah, I think people should come and see the play because I think the conversations are very relatable, as well as they're funny. They're witty. You can find yourself in a little bit of everybody, and you're going to laugh. I definitely think you're going to laugh during the play. So I think that's why everybody should come to the show.
Love that. Thank you so much, Kobe. It's been a joy working with you. Chantal.
Yes. So I think three, not all, but I think three of the main purposes of art is to educate, inspire, and escape. So I think depending on what you need in your personal life, whether you need an escape from your current reality, whether you're looking to learn something from the story, or whether you're just looking to be inspired, I think you pick what it is you need, and whatever it is that you need, definitely come to the reading because you'll get one, if not more or all of those things. And as far as keeping in touch with me, you can follow me on Instagram, my first and last name, chantalmaurice.com. That's also my website, chantalmaurice.com. And you can also find my acting studio on Instagram at costar_coaching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chantal. I do want to pause and say that Chantal was working on another production with Horizon Theater, and she recently joined in rehearsals. And I was like, I know that she is going to be such a great addition to the cast, and she completely blew our minds. So I encourage you to come out and see her. It's such a pleasure having you on the cast. Thank you so much, Chantal. We're going to go to Jermac. If you could share a little bit about why people should come out and see the comeback and how can they keep in contact with you?
I think they should come see the comeback because from what I read the other day with the people that I read with, and it was an amazing read for one. Two, I love how the story is written. I'm just excited. And I just know that just from how everybody else and their history and, with film or theater, I just really, really deep down believe that this is something that people are just going to have to come see, so it's not why they should, they're just going to have to. So, the flyer is dope. I don't know. I don't have too many words besides I'm excited. So that's it.
Appreciate you. And thank you so much for joining. You've also added so much to the cast, and we can't wait to present this work with you. So I am going to now wrap things up with Zaylin before I have a conversation, Mr. Franklin, if that's okay with you, about the second piece that we're going to be presenting, which is Journey. I just want to talk a little bit about that. We're going to perform that on Friday, September 2nd as well at 2 p.m., same location, the Kimpton in Atlanta airport location. But Zaylin would love to hear from you. Why should people come and see the comeback, and how can we keep in contact with you?
So people should see the comeback because it feels like a family reunion on stage. First off, just saying that the energy and the every little piece that all the characters bring, but again, the characters themselves, I think that not only will audience members come and see the show and find key takeaways or things that they can relate to, that they can say, you know what, yeah, I need to fix that in my life, or they see a little bit of themselves in each character, because characters are so, I think, real and raw. And so the fact of the matter is that it's also just I think a very fun play. So compared to some of the other pieces that may be at the festival, this one is just a nice feel good show as well. And I think that is always great when you have such an amazing, talented cast here. And for as myself, you can follow me on Facebook, Zaylin Yates. My parents, they wanted me to be last in life, so they gave me the 2 last letters out. Also at Zaylin Yates for my Instagram. And then, as you mentioned earlier, I also started a theater company down here in South Florida. So we definitely pride ourselves on highlighting young professional artists, and that's Brevo Theater. So you can find us on Facebook, BREVO Theater, and also on Instagram. So we have some exciting things coming up this season also.
That's right. That's right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Kaz, I cannot thank you enough. I am so humbled to be working with you, and I cannot wait to present this work on Friday of next week. Can you guys believe it? We are almost there. So thank you so much for everything that you're bringing to this production, and I look forward to working with you next week. Any final words before I have a conversation with Mr. Franklin about Journey? Anything else? All
Get
right,
your
guys.
tickets.
Oh, get your tickets, y'all. Get your tickets. That's right. Thank you, Zaylin. All right, so you guys feel free to hang on if you would like, or if you have to hop off, feel free to hop off. I did want to make sure I gave you the opportunity for people to connect with you. But Mr. Franklin would love to talk to you more now about Journey, which is another piece that we're going to be presenting. Bye, guys, at the festival. So great to have you. Thank you so much.
All
At
right.
the festival, and I know that we're going to be presenting 10 minutes of Journey, which is my fourth play. And so I'm so excited to be presenting this work. It'll be production, so it won't be a stage reading. And Mr. Franklin will have another actor based in LA. His name is Mel Hampton. He'll be joining us for that stage reading. And then Amaya, who you guys saw in the beginning of this interview, will be playing Journey. So, Mr. Franklin, would you like to expound on what Journey is about just a little bit?
Okay, well, at least the part that you'll see.
Yes.
Journey is a young woman who has gotten disenchanted with her home life and decided to venture out, and now has gotten caught up in human trafficking. And her father has been looking for her for years. And the scene that we're presenting is a scene in which we finally, the father finally catches up to her, and he finds her. And when he does find her, she is also kind of on the run, possibly from her pimp, or the guy who was trafficking her.
Mm-hmm.
And the father really has to try to win her back. Part of the issue with any kind of human trafficking or prostitute pimp relationship is the victims really does identify with the predator. They identify with the predator to the point where the victim may not be able to even see the fact that they are a victim. They don't see that they've been isolated, that they have been that they're being manipulated. And so the people, when they're reaching out to them, they are not only reaching out to rescue this person from this predator, they're also reaching out to kind of rescue this person from themselves, because they have started to lock themselves up in the thing. And so we see that in just this few minutes, we get a chance to see this father work to get this daughter back. And we also get a chance to see this predator work to keep her, or work to intimidate her, work to do whatever he needs to do to keep her in his camp. And I won't tell you exactly how it ends up, but you really need to see it, to see what she chooses. But it is the story that happens all the time. And a lot of people find themselves in the situation. And it might not necessarily be human trafficking. It could be addiction. It could be any kind of thing that pulls a person from their family, from their base.
Right.
And then that family or base is trying to pull them back from that thing. But that thing has them so wrapped up, they have a hard time letting go of that thing. So it's a relatable story because it happens so much in our community.
Mhm. That, I mean, there is nothing else that really needs to be said about Journey after that. Okay, that was perfect. I will just add, though, that Mr. Franklin is going to be playing the dad. His name is Thomas in this presentation, the scene that we're presenting. There's a monologue, everyone, that Thomas shares with us in this scene. And I really, really want you to see it. I won't give away the ending, like Mr. Franklin said, but you have to see him work. Mel Hampton, who is another talented actor based in LA, is going to be the opposite. So playing the pimp, the manipulator, and then Journey, who is caught in the middle of these two worlds. So please come out and see it. It's going to be Friday, September 2nd, 2 p.m. at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. Get your tickets. I have a little feeling that there might not be seats in the room, everybody. So I want to go ahead and get your ticket.
Get the tickets.
Get your tickets. Get your tickets. And invite your friends. Invite your family. It's really going to be a community event, and we would love to have you as our guest. So, Mr. Franklin, anything else that we need to add or that you would like to add before we wrap?
Well, nothing really. Like she said, get your tickets and support this young woman, this young playwright who is tackling some really interesting subjects in a really novel way. We need to support the playwrights. They are the keepers of our culture. And so we really need to support that.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin.
All right.
All right. Well, have a great night. And
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.